Well, that was a lot. Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews, and today we are discussing Luca Guadagnino's Queer. Queer is based on a short novel by William S. Burroughs, telling the story of a gay American man living in Mexico City as he recounts his life and past lovers. Luca Guadagnino is one of those directors where I appreciate them. I very rarely find myself actually loving his movies or really deeply connecting with them, but I absolutely can appreciate how well made they are. He is a good director. I just don't always love the material that he goes for. And I did hear going into this movie that it is very weird. I kind of somewhat expected that. It is based on a William S. Burroughs novel for starters. But having struggled to get on with Guadagnino in the past and already expecting this one to be a bit of a weird watch, I just went into it with zero expectations whatsoever, with just a simple awareness that if this gets weird, well, you were told. And it did get weird, and I was told. But, surprisingly, I have quite a lot of positives to say about this movie. I know. In fact, I'll go as far as saying this is my favourite Guadagnino film of the three that I've seen so far. Bones and All ended up just being a very pretty, mopey, emo, teenage bag of piss. I really don't care for that film at all. Challengers was a massive step up. I way preferred the characters and the intensity of the story. I loved the way the tennis was shot, but ultimately I do still think that it lacked a bit of power and resonance in its message. It all seemed fairly obvious from the get-go where this was going, but Queer, I think, might be the best one. For starters, the performances are outstanding. Daniel Craig, Jesus, this guy is committed. Possibly his best performance ever. I have been a little bit on the fence about Daniel Craig in the past. I don't think he's as good as other people do, but I gotta give it to him. He really knocked it out of the park with this movie, as did Jason Schwartzman. It's a real physical transformation for him, but I also found the personality of the character to be a real nice change of pace to his usual comedic stick. And they have a great back and forth dynamic together. The film was shot wonderfully, it's got a good soundtrack to it as well, and I strangely did find myself somewhat gripped by the narrative. As simple as it was, I found it quite compelling and effective. And I think a lot of that does come down to the good work of the characters. Because you care about the characters, you kind of care about the story, even when it starts getting a bit weird and wacky and out there, or a bit graphically, erotically intense. And I do like an awful lot of the ambiguity in the movie. I always appreciate a film that doesn't spoon-feed you, but I must admit it doesn't go without its problems. For one, I do think it is a little bit too long in the tooth. It maybe could have done with being 10-15 minutes shorter. In fact, it does feel like it's coming to an end, and then it just sort of keeps going a bit more. And as I mentioned, sometimes the film does get quite graphically intense. This isn't me being a straight guy clutching his pearls, this is me giving you a heads up that, yeah, no, you full-blown pretty much see gay porn here, and it isn't shy about it. One scene in particular, I dare I say, they went a bit too far. I don't think we needed to see that. I mean, I get it, and I'm all for it being implied, and I would be saying the exact same thing if this was straight sex, but it was just a bit too far, to the point that it actually can be seen as kind of funny in a gross out way, and I don't think that's what they're trying to do here. I think it worked much better when it was short, sweet, and implied, rather than the very graphic sit with it and watch this moments. And unfortunately, it does also kind of stop me from wanting to recommend it to others. There are plenty of people who I think will enjoy this movie, but those scenes will definitely scar them and shock them and put them off. I get it, I just don't think it's necessary. But apart from that, I was very pleasantly surprised by Queer. The characters are interesting and they're performed fantastically by this cast. Guadagnino's directing remains beautiful yet subtle. He's very good at using the right camera shot and framing to suggest an intensity or a slowness to each scene. I think he's absolutely masterful at that, and he captures it brilliantly here. I really liked this. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but I know for a fact that this is not going to work for everybody, and I don't know if it does have an awful lot of rewatch value. I'm going to give Queer an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen Queer? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, we can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.